Hey there, my name's Neil Gibb and I'm the owner of the HMO Property Co. And I'm going to record you a short 6-video series to understand some of the things around the way we use HMO and Co living to create wealth in real estate. Now these 6 videos are going to be negative gearing versus positive gearing and saving tax. We're going to talk about, in video number 2, bank finance, leveraging bank finance and multiple streams of income. In video 3, we're going to talk about the way that Australians are changing the way they live, and we're going to talk the trends that are happening in the USA, Europe and in Australia. In video number 4, I want to talk about the Perth market and why it's such a good place to invest. In number 5, I'm going to talk to you about new build versus renovation and the different outcomes from both of them scenarios. And in number 6, video number 6, you're going to hear from some of our existing clients. We're going to make a montage of some testimonials for you. And I understand that everybody's busy, so I'm going to keep these videos as short and as efficient as possible. So let's get cracking. Video number 1, negative gearing versus positive gearing and saving tax. Now, people come to me constantly and say, I want to invest in real estate because I'm earning too much tax and I want to offset it against the property. Now, I'm not sure about you, but I want to pay as much tax as possible because that means I'm earning more money. Now, there's ways we can save tax and minimize our payable tax by using certain structures. But for me, I want to pay $1 million in tax because that means I've earned $10 million. The days of minimizing your taxable income by negatively gearing seriously stops you from growing a successful property portfolio. And the reason for that is the only way you can save tax is by earning less money. So if you have a $100,000 a year income, but you're spending $10,000 a year to save tax, that means your taxable income is now $90,000. And that means when you apply for finance with a new bank for a new property, they assess your serviceability at $90,000. And that's not good. On the other hand, if you have a property that earns $25,000 a year cash flow, and you earn $100,000 a year plus $25,000 a year cash flow, you can now go to the bank and tell them that you earn $125,000 per year. And even after tax, you come out in a much better position. Now, I'm going to give you a very high level example of this. Everybody's situation is very different. Everybody's is totally different. You can minimize your tax and you can save tax by using certain structures, and I can put you in touch with anybody in my team, my accountant, my lawyer, who can explain this with more detail than me. But I'm going to keep this nice and simple because that's the way I am. Let's say this is someone earning $100,000 per year. And let's say they have a property that's $10,000 per year, cash flow negative. Now that person now gets their taxable income is now $90,000, and if we take 30% off that, that's $27,000 per year, which leaves them now with after tax money of $63,000 per year. Sounds good? You've saved $10,000 in tax and you've got a property that's going up in value. Now, negative gearing only works if your property goes up in value. So when the market's going down and you're paying $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year into your property to keep it afloat, but it's not going up at the same rate, then you are essentially losing money. And positive cash flow on the other hand, if your property goes up or down in value, the cash flow keeps coming from that property no matter what. And I can tell you this with confidence because my portfolio has done this in the Perth market that went down for 6-7 years. Now the Perth market is on the way up, and I will touch on that in video number 4. Now, the other scenario we've got somebody here that earns $25,000 a year cash flow. They've invested in a HMO and they're making 25 grand a year after all expenses. So now they've got a taxable income of $125,000. Oh my God, we're going to have to pay tax on that. So tax at 30% on that means they would pay $37,500 in tax, which now means after their tax return, they've got $87,000. That is the power of positive gearing. We can now go to the bank and tell the bank we earn more money We've got assets that produce cash flow for us, and the banks will lend us more money because when they plug your details into a serviceability calculator, the big things that they look at now are monthly operating expenses. How much do you spend living the life that you live? Now, if you have a mortgage, that's the biggest commitment that anybody can have. If you got a mortgage and you are having to pay the shortfall on that mortgage, then the banks see that as a bad thing. And most people get to 3 or 4 negatively geared properties and then they have to tap out because the banks will not lend them any more money. I've seen people with millions of dollars in equity in their portfolio, yet they're scraping by because their portfolio is $30,000, $40,000 a year cash flow negative. And it's a bad place to be. So I hope that helps. The power of positive cash flow will put you in a better after-tax position than if you are negatively geared. So I hope that helps. If you'd like me to put you in touch with any of my professionals, my tax accountant, who's also got 15 years as a CFO on one of the biggest building companies in Western Australia, and if you also want to speak to my mortgage broker, who's also a real estate strategist, and she is incredibly savvy when it comes to structuring yourself correctly and increasing your serviceability to the banks, let me know, reply to this email, and I will connect you with them all. Have a great day.